ladies and gentlemen? It's Kevin Jackwitz with the Caged Review, and I am about to review Monday Night Raw, and this is for 4/16/2018. And after their last show, which was the Raw after WrestleMania, of course, they have a lot to live up to, and they're going to be incredibly hard pressed to make it anywhere good as last week's was, in my opinion. They had a lot of surprises. They had a lot of really good shit. But they have a lot of potential for a great show because it's a superstar shakeup. So you're literally ending one season, beginning a new season, and man, they really kicked it off with a bang. So let's go ahead and get right into this. You know that you're going to have a lot of superstars coming over from SmackDown. They're going to be kind of filling in the main roster with the NXT people that they brought in last week. And, you know, I really think this show delivered. So, like I said, getting into it, you start out with Kurt Angle. He starts talking, but it doesn't last long because he gets interrupted by Samir Singh, who is introducing the first pick for this draft, which was Jinder Mahal. You know, I wasn't a big fan of starting out with a pick like Jinder Mahal. But they get in here, Jinder comes down, he starts talking about he appreciates Kurt Angle bringing him over, but, you know, he's used to riding in a limousine and he wants the same treatment he had over on SmackDown. Blah, blah, blah. And Angle starts cutting him off and he's like, if you want perks here, you're going to have to earn them. And so he puts him in a match and Jeff Hardy's music hits. That was cool. Because instantly, you know what's about to happen. They're not going to put Jeff Hardy in a match with Jinder Mahal and not give him the championship. Now remember, Jinder Mahal is the U.S. champion, which I did not like. He became champion at WrestleMania, and I was not a fan of that. So that was cool for me. That was very, very cool for me, honestly. And yeah, they come in, they have a kind of stiff match. Jinder Mahal, you know, he wasn't bad this time. He had a decent match. They're decent. But at the end of the day, Jeff Hardy does indeed win the U.S. Championship. And so that was a pretty cool way to kick off the show. You're demoting Jinder and you're, you know, boosting up Jeff Hardy, which I think it's safe to say that they've always thought that Jeff Hardy was a really good singles competitor. He has a huge fan base there, so, you know, it is what it is. After that, you cut to commercial, you come back. Renee Young is giving Jinder Mahal an interview, and he's interrupted by No Way Jose, who says, hey man, you know, you look pretty mad, you smile and this like that, and asks Renee Young if she wants to go dancing. And of course she does, because, you know, Jinder Mahal. So, No Way Jose walks away, and Jinder Mahal is just staring at him angrily as they go party off. After that, you have Bayley versus Sasha Banks. This match actually started kind of rough. Two very, very good women in the ring, but the beginning of this match was kind of a botch fest. It really was. I love both these girls, but there was just some missed spots. One where Bayley slipped on the middle rope. She jumped up and she was going to do a back elbow. Instead, she just lost her footing and fell. Which happens, you know, it's live and, you know, live choreography, so shit's going to happen. They're both, like I said, very good, and then there was a spot right after it where she was about to throw Sasha Banks and the timing was just off and you could tell it just looks so fake. So there were actually a few spots in this match that had that, which is, I don't know what was going on there, or who knows. But it was kind of a botch fest. They cut the commercial, they come back. The women have got their rhythm now. They're putting on a decent match. And Sasha Banks puts Bayley in the bank statement. in comes the Riot Squad. So here's your second SmackDown conversion. And you get all three members of the Riot Squad. So you got Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, and Ruby Riot. And of course they put the kibosh on both Bayley and Sasha Banks. And so that's their hard introduction to Raw. After that, Heath Slater and Rhino, they're cutting a real quick promo backstage. And Heath Slater was saying something and Rhino's like, you know what, enough. We're getting a second chance with these guys, referring to the Authors of Pain. And we're not going to lose our second chance. So that leads directly into a match, Heath Slater and Rhino versus the Authors of Pain. They did a very good job of building up the Authors of Pain. They picked them to go over Rhino instead of Heath Slater. Rhino's a pretty big boy, so it looked authentic. And like I said, I'm a big fan of the Authors of Pain. I kind of miss seeing Paul Ellering, because it's fucking Paul Ellering. But that's alright, Authors of Pain doing their thing, and it was good. They go over, they're supposed to. They're building up a Beast Tag team. They need a Beast Tag team on Raw. They've got at least one or two on SmackDown. So I thought it was good. After that, you have Miz TV, who's going to introduce a couple of stars coming from SmackDown that are going to shake Raw. Well, it turns out to be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And everybody's in the ring congratulating each other. The Miz, Taraj, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. And then Kurt Angle comes out. And before he really gets to say anything, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn cut him off. They say that they've got a note, and it turns out to be something from Stephanie McMahon saying that they're overriding Kurt Angle's decision and adding Owens and Zayn to the Raw roster. Kurt Angle's like, well, that's all well and good, but that's not why I came out here. I came out here to let The Miz know he's going to SmackDown. So, that's your first SmackDown. I'm calling them conversions, but and the thing about that is, like, SmackDown's only a 2-hour show compared to the 3 hours on Raw, so I guess they kind of have to start the whole SmackDown process on Raw, really, which does, like, it makes Raw a loaded show because you get more surprises and you have more going on, but that was cool. That was fine. So, with the Superstar Shakeup, we now have, so far, Jinder Mahal, all three members of the Riot Squad, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn on Raw. So, after that, you have Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy do a very quick promo, talking about how they're going to beat the Revival and go on to face the Bar. And then that leads right into the match with Hardy and Wyatt versus the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Pretty good match. And honestly, this, for me, had the hit of the night. There was a part, I don't know if it, I think it was Scott Dawson. I think that's the bald guy. There was this part where Bray Wyatt turned around and he threw a discus clothesline, but he fucking threw all his weight into it. And the impact on that was real. You could tell. That was definitely my hit of the night, because that shit was just, he threw that fucking clothesline. So, that was fun. And I will say that I do like how Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt are working together. I really like this gimmick that they've got now with, the Woke and Bray Wyatt. It's two very unique characters, and they do play well off each other. They're both very good at being quirky, and very, very good at these gimmicks they have, and they're great at promos. So, yeah, I kind of like this Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt thing going on. So they go over the Revival. And so now that means that Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy are going to face the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus, at the Greatest Royal Rumble pay-per-view. which I found out they did clarify that it is going to be on the WWE Network, so I will see that and let you guys know what I think about it. So after that, you get a backstage segment. You got the Bar talking about how they're going to be facing Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, and in comes the next conversion, which is going to be Tyler Breeze and Breezango. They're doing their whole Fashion Files bit. They got transferred to a new precinct, and they're really selling this gimmick, and they've done such a great job with it, Breezango. I think that, you know, they've been given one of the cheesiest damn things, and they've made it very funny, very entertaining, and they've really run with it. So I actually give these two a lot of credit. I mean, yes, it's cheesy, it's funny, it's campy. That's what they've been given though, and they're really working it, and damn it, I like it. So they give both Cesaro and Sheamus tickets for fashion faux pas, and that's that. You get a backstage segment. After that, Kurt Angle introduces Natalya, which is the next conversion from SmackDown. And Ronda Rousey's there. And at first, it's Kurt Angle and Rousey talking about how Rousey can expect repercussions from Stephanie McMahon because she's a vengeful wench, basically. And then Natalya's introduced, and Rousey and Natalya have a big hug, and Rousey was saying they trained together, and so it looks like Natalya is going face over on Raw, and that's cool. I like Natalya no matter what. After that, you have Nia Jax, and they're saying Alexa Bliss is going to be on commentary, and it's for a match with Mickie James versus Ember Moon. We come back from commercial. Alexa Bliss is not on commentary, and the match is about to get underway. Pretty good match. They kind of took away from the match a little bit because they had a promo. They had a split screen promo with Alexa Bliss talking about how she didn't want to come on commentary because she didn't know Nia Jax is going to be there, and she's a bully and blah blah blah, and she didn't know what was going to happen to her. So that kind of took away from the match a little bit, but once that was done, good match between the ladies. Ember Moon, of course, gets the win. Mickie James really sold the move too, her Eclipse move. So I thought that was pretty cool. So Ember Moon, you know they're going to start building her up. She's a very good wrestler, just fun. The next segment I really liked. Dolph Ziggler's music hit, so he's over from SmackDown. He starts to cut a promo, but it's quickly cut off by Titus Worldwide. All three members of Titus Worldwide come out to the ring, and they offer Dolph Ziggler a spot on the team. Dolph Ziggler says, before you were interrupted, I was about to say I didn't come here alone. And boom, Drew McIntyre comes out. He smashes both Titus and Cruz. Oh my god, dude, I loved it. The whole arena popped when they saw that it was Drew McIntyre. That was just a really cool moment for me, honestly. It really was. I've been wondering what they were going to do with Drew McIntyre. I've been wondering where he was at. And bam. Yeah, like I said, the crowd really reacted to it. So, it's going to be interesting to see what McIntyre's run is going to be like this time around. He's bigger than he was last time. He's gotten better in the ring, I think. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen there. And Dolph Ziggler is pretty good on a mic. So, it's going to be interesting. So they ran roughshod over Titus Worldwide, and they left to a pretty good applause. So that was cool. And it was nice because you would think after Raw last week there wouldn't be any surprises left. Because there was so many, man. They had such a loaded show last week, and they were still able to pull this off this week. So I think that it says a lot, man. They're thinking. I like that. It really was a damn good surprise. After that, Roman Reigns comes down. He starts doing an in-ring bit. Samoa Joe interrupts him, just like he did last week. And he said, after your match against Brock Lesnar, I'm going to finish you off. And then they do this thing where Samoa Joe calls up a promo of Reigns Lesnar and how many times Brock Lesnar has beaten Roman Reigns. And I thought that was kind of wasted space. And it didn't really make sense for Joe to be out there talking about the Reigns-Lesnar feud, but whatever. He was saying Reigns couldn't get the job done and blah, blah, blah. After, like I said, after his match, Samoa Joe's going to be waiting for him. So it's kind of that promo, I don't, didn't necessarily work for me. It would have been better if they would have left the Reigns-Lesnar promo out and just had Samoa Joe cut his own promo, because he's damn good at them. But, whatever. After that is another part of the show where it was just really fucking cool to see, and that was Mandy Rose versus Natalya. Mandy Rose comes out with Sonya Deville. She has a match against Natalya. They have a couple of bits where, you know, Sonya Deville looked like she was trying to get involved for a second, but not too much. Natalya gets the win over Mandy Rose, and after the match, Sonya Deville jumps Natalya, and then of course Mandy Rose joins in, and then Ronda Rousey's music hits, and she comes down. And so, yeah, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, they kind of walk outside the ring, and Sonya is like, you know what, I got this, walks back in the ring, starts throwing punches, except the first one gets blocked, and Ronda Rousey jabs her, and then just unleashes a flurry of punches, really good looking takedown. And so they get Ronda Rousey, of course, just as over as she could possibly be. That was really cool. I really liked that they did that. You know, it gives something for Ronda to do post WrestleMania, post Stephanie McMahon. And I'm sure they'll bring back Stephanie at some point, and there'll be repercussions for, you know, Ronda Rousey grabbing her arm again on last week's Raw. But really, really cool to see her actually mix it up a little bit with someone else. And then they have a little promo package talking about they're bringing Baron Corbin over. I'm not the biggest Corbin fan. He's not the best at promos, and he's not the best in the ring, so I'm not hating on him, but I'm just not interested that much in Baron Corbin. After that, you have Breezango versus The Bar. There was a high point and a low point to this. The high point is Breezango comes in, they pull off a pretty good match with The Bar. There was a point where Cesaro was trying to get Fandango with a sunset roll-up, and Fandango just starts doing his dancing bit and throwing Cesaro off, but the whole fucking arena started laughing. And that's what I'm saying, is like, these guys have this kind of campy gimmick, but they're working it, and they're making it something that is entertaining and the crowds really react to. And like, there wasn't a person in the fucking arena that didn't laugh. So he does that, drops the leg drop on Cesaro. Really good match overall. They give Breezango the win. And here's why it's a high point and a low point at the same time. High point because you're just bringing in Breezango. These are a couple of guys who I think don't get enough credit as actual in-ring competitors. They're both pretty damn good. They both have this shtick that's very corny, and, you know, they could have fallen flat, and they've really turned it into their own. So these guys have talent, and I think that they deserve a win. I think they deserve something big like that. But at the same time, you're building up The Bar again, and you're having them go over The Bar. So that's kind of, it's, you know, it's a high-low, because Cesaro and Sheamus are two guys that they look the part, they kind of are the part, and I think it's kind of a disservice to Cesaro and Sheamus, which is like the second or third week in a row that they've really kind of had a disservice. So, Elias cuts a backstage promo after that with Renee Young, and he's talking about how Bobby Lashley doesn't ever need to cross paths with him again. We'll see what happens there. And then comes the last match of the night, which was made kind of toward the beginning of the show at Miz TV when it was Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and the Miz Taraj. Kurt Angle, when he came out, he announced that Miz, since he's leaving, is going to have one more match, which is going to be the Miz Taraj, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, and the Miz, joining up with Owens and Zayn for a 10-man tag match against Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and a superstar yet to be chosen, which turned out to be Bobby Roode. So we know Bobby Roode is over, and he's getting a top spot with the company on Raw. You know, he's in there with all the big boys, so that's kind of cool. So, excuse me. The match is everything you would expect with that many people. You get a lot of spots, you get a lot of cool moments. Bobby Lashley came in and absolutely dominated. He's freak of fucking nature. A guy that big is extremely explosive. So it's very cool to see. And the biggest part of this match was at the end. The Miz Taraj was on the apron. Owens and Zayn were down. Miz goes to tag. Curtis Axel steps off the apron. Then Bo Dallas steps off the apron. And they both walk away. And that leaves Miz to face Braun Strowman alone. Braun Strowman power slam gets the win. So the win goes to Strowman, Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and Bobby Roode. And this is just a feel-good match at the end of the night to give the crowd what they want and send them home smiling, basically. And I think it was effective. So this show, man, I mean, it was funny because last night I really honestly wasn't feeling the greatest. I start to watch it and I'm just like, And I wasn't really invested in watching Raw last night at first. And then by the end of it, I'm like, well, fuck, this is a pretty good show. So, I mean, they did it again. I really think that they are getting better, a lot better again. I was really happy with this show. I really was. I think they did a lot right here. They sold a lot of good storyline. They got a lot of things going, heading forward. They're building up the Authors of Pain. They did something with Ronda Rousey. You got a lot of surprises here, which you expected because it's a superstar shakeup. But you also got Jeff Hardy as the new U.S. champ, which was a really good surprise. And you got Drew McIntyre, which was a really good pop. Breezango going over the bar, which is a pretty good pop, actually. So yeah, man, I feel like they're doing a lot of right things with this. So, I mean, the fact that I wasn't even invested in this, and by the end of it I was really into it, I would have to give this at least an 8 out of 10 again. At least an 8 out of 10, probably a 9 out of 10. As far as entertainment value, I was thoroughly entertained the whole way. I really was. I felt like they just did everything they were supposed to the right way. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you think of all the people coming over from SmackDown and what that's going to mean for SmackDown tonight. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz. Cage Nation out.